Hey, what is it? Guess what it is? It's a crazy man standing there doing his arms like this. Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Hello, hello, hello. Today we're going to talk about something. We're going to talk about Emily and Roberto. Ah, man, it's a great story today. Emily and Roberto. Roberto is a Mexican, U.S. citizen, married to Emily. They met 3 years plus. 3 years, 6 months ago. Here, online, he came here. He proposed to her. Went back to the States, and he says, guess what? I'm going to marry that girl. She's beautiful, and I love her. So she is going to tell us from her perspective on what is the difference between the United States and America from a Filipina's point of view. She's been there 20 months, something like that. So I want to talk about that today. I just did a live stream on my podcast. Not everybody watches my podcast, so I thought I'd do it on this one in a short version, not go in detail so long and long and long. Today we're going to talk about Roberto. He's from Mexico. He's a U.S. citizen. He's born in Mexico. Father relocated them when they were younger because he is a chef. I didn't say that in the podcast. He is a chef, and he's in Las Vegas. Okay, so what is interesting about this story? Emily, they brought her over on a K-1 visa. It took 13 months, a little bit over 13 months. And she's been in a month, 20 months in the States. I'm just letting you know from my experience, Tom, because I hear all these stories, and I hear you online. I watch a video every day, and she listens to the podcast. And she told me this, that she finds it interesting that I want to tell you my story and put it online. So a lot of you guys probably know Emily. She comes on the live streams all the time. So they traveled to Eastern Seaboard and loved it. Loved the States. Flew into New York. Burr got cold, and she's, Burr, it's so cold here. Ended up in Detroit. Said, oh man, Detroit is kind of not what I thought it was going to be. I see a lot of people homeless. I see homeless everywhere. But on a positive note, there's a lot of people that's not homeless. And she said, I really enjoy myself in the States. And here are the pros that I'm going to tell you about today. Food, number one on the list, she said, is the best in the world. You're not going to find food any better than anywhere, especially in New York City. Better food than anywhere else in the world. Now, Roberto is what they call an IT analyst, and he actually works for Google. And he works for the ID department in Google, and he has a very good job, and he works at home. So they can travel anywhere, and he do his job. And they don't travel. They travel in an RV, believe it or not. But that's not where they travel to go around. But anyway, they go around and things. On the con side, the traffic. She said the traffic is unbearable. Traffic is horrible. I'm not a fan of the traffic. But she also said the Philippines, there's a lot of calmness there. But the problem she had getting around in the Philippines was getting to point A to point B to C to D was a hassle. Her job here, she'd go to work and take a bus, a tricycle, and a motorcycle just to get to work because where she worked, you had to have a motorcycle. On the way back, the motorcycle wouldn't show up. A lot of times she had to walk, so a lot of stress, a lot of stress, a lot of stress. Now, she didn't say she didn't have that stress, the less stress, but it's really kind of hard to get around here. On the positive side, in the United States of America, she said it's so easy to get out. You just get in the car and you go. You don't really have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about the buses. You don't have to worry about anything. But the traffic is a hassle there. It's cleaner, so much cleaner in the States. It is so clean. She says, when I go outside, I can actually smell the fresh air. In the Philippines, you can smell fresh air. But she says sometimes with the methane gas and all the other smells and the odors and things, I really don't have what they call a sense of good smell. She said the family is great and fantastic in the Philippines. It's really great to be with the family in the Philippines, but they're always wanting money since I'm married to my American husband. They always ask me for money. I have given them thousands of dollars and they've not paid back 1 cent. But guess what? Her mother just got a job working from here, got to the States. She's been in the States now a year, and she got there not because of those two, of Roberto and Emily. She applied for a job online to cleaning company, hired her, brought her over. She cleans theaters. She has two contracts. She cleans theaters. When they're after done the movie, she cleans it out. The other contract is clean a Marriott. And that's her too. But anyway, it's a clean company. They give you contracts, and then you get paid accordingly on your performance and all the above. Positive thing, like I said, she said, less smells. Cons, don't watch the news in the United States. It'll drive you crazy. If you watch it, it'll make you sick to your stomach. But if you turn the TV off and turn on music and podcasts and something positive, you'll be surprised how your life is. She says it's so easy. And she says, I went to get my driver's license. I go in, I take the exam, I pass it. I pass it, and I go take the driving test. Easy peasy. I'm in and out of there in an hour, all done. I got my license. And here in the Philippines, it took forever for her to get a driver's license. And she said it just is a nightmare. That is a con, to be honest with you. A lot of people say they don't have a problem, but there's a problem getting that. But anyway, more opportunities in the United States of America. Many, 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 many more. Compared to the Philippines, a con. Great. Now, the great things about the Philippines is this. She says, I want to say this. More opportunity in the United States. Great opportunity here in the Philippines. It's cheaper to live in the Philippines, but not so, she said. Let me tell you my experience. I pay $500 a month rent, 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment where they live. $500 a month and $75 electric, $600 a month. Here in the Philippines, her family and basically all live together. They have just a small place that they built on their own land, and they're paying 2,000 peso, which is $40 a month for electric, and then all the food and all the other stuff they have to buy. And she said overall, in general, she rather live in the States and pay the $500-$600 a month plus the food and everything else than living here in the Philippines and paying $40 a month plus the food. Said the food cost was at least $500-$600 a month in food here. And they grew their own pigs because of rice, and many family members they had to feed, and rice and all the other things and the vegetables. And they try to grow vegetables, but buying stuff, she said, it still costs them about $500 a month, so $20,000-$25,000. She must have a big family. Less stress in the southern states. She found that she loved eating collard greens and what they call southern eating, and she loved eating that in Savannah. Atlanta, she went to Atlanta, had barbecue for the very first time in her life. True pork barbecue, not what they have here. It was pulled pork here, and then they just make their own sauce, which they really don't do that here. There's not really any places that have a good pulled pork sandwich here. So she said she had said more people are friendlier in the southern states than they are in the bigger states, larger states like up towards New York, but she found New Yorkers were really quite friendly. She found that really quite interesting, how friendly they were in New York. And she said she got down in Detroit when they made a loop like this, like a question mark loop, and then down into the states over here because he had a project he had to do. So ended up in, coming down Virginia and Ohio and then into Georgia and North and South Carolina into Georgia and then on down. And she found that people are really friendly. She said they were friendliest in Georgia than they were anywhere. And she loved Savannah. She loved places there. They went to Jacksonville in Florida and some time there. I love the beaches there. The beaches to her are better in USA than they are here in the Philippines, even though they're island countries. There's more things to do there, the more activity. Of course, making money is the thing. She says she opened up her own health food store. Was actually cookies, organic type cookies and cakes and things like that. And she's doing very well with them. When got her licenses, all that stuff, had to do it. But here in the Philippines, you can do that. But she's making double, triple, quadruple the amount of money she would make here in the Philippines doing it. She was working for a lady, a bakery, and what they would do, this bakery was off-site. And meaning that's the reason she had to take a motorcycle because it's kind of up in the mountain and out of Makati. And she said that it cost her a lot of heartache trying to get there and then getting back down. Then they would transport all the bread, which that's what they do here. Then they transport and distribute to the particular stores, and that's what she did. In fact, Ruth worked at one here. They make all the bread in one spot and then they distribute it out to all the stores and to all the sorry stores and whatever retail stores. They do some baking at some of the stores, but they can't bake all the breads there. I mean, you know how that is. So. But she said that she prefers living in the States, and they're going to stay in the States 9-10 months, and depending on vacations, come here 2 months. maybe 3 if their vacation's allowed. If not, they say 1 month or 2, whatever it is, but 90% of the time in the States. And so this is Emily and Roberto's pros and cons. Now, what I have to say about, before I want to close this out, is it's nice to hear that she told me her aspect on it, because I always hear so many people saying, and of course I have guys that's gone back to the States and they tell me it's fine. People tell you that everything's fine. People, ad-lib a little bit stuff about some things happening, and I'm sure there's a lot of hassle in some of the areas, but she found overall, in general, if you would take the Philippines and all the things that's happening here and take in U.S., the U.S. has 1/10, 1/100th of the troubles. I mean, what you see in crime in schools and everything else, it's the same here. Abductions and things happening, and the things she says the same, and of course is the reason why is they may or may not publicize it here. Where in U.S. they're on top of it in about 2 seconds. So that is her aspect. I want to tell that story of Emily and Roberto. I want to thank everybody for always watching my videos, and thank you so much for always taking the time to watch our videos. God bless everybody, and I'll see you guys next time on Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures.